Right,
And,
mate.
and the ultimate test, I guess, isn't it, this week, Steve? The Premier League leaders.
Yeah, no, it doesn't get any bigger or any tougher at this moment in time. Um, but one we're excited about, one we're looking forward to. Preparation in full flow, and we'll commit to the challenge. Of course, a tough one, but one we're going to give everything to.
Is there the temptation to make wholesale changes to your team because of the importance of your championship position at the moment?
No, not really. I think that there's a load of games coming up this month, and this season has very much been about playing lots of games in few days. So there's no real change on that front. We've very much got a squad that we believe in, whatever team that we put out. I've said on numerous occasions, this is a season for not just a starting team or 12 or 13 players. It's for a lot more than that, and that's approach that we've taken in these busy periods. So we'll continue with that process.
The last time the two teams met, it was before your time at Swansea City, but it was an FA Cup tie, and there was a contentious decision then. What with the goal for Sergio Aguero not judged to be offside, even though VAR wasn't implemented that day. Fans still talk about that game, and they're still quite upset about that game and that decision. Is there a bit of a revenge mission for those fans then, from your point of view and from your team's point of view?
It's hard for me to comment on that. I wasn't there 2 years ago, and don't even remember the situation. I remember watching the game, but 2 years ago, isn't it? And we're very much a different team now, and so they will be. I know there's a lot of still familiar faces, and obviously the same manager, etc. But there's been a lot of water under the bridge since then. So I don't think it's even though it's an obvious talking point to compare that game with this one, it's not one that we're comparing, that's for sure.
Yeah, because I was about to say there are a few players that were still involved there, the likes of Connor Roberts, Matt Grimes, Jay Fulton, I think. You're not tempted to use that as a bit of extra motivation for those guys that use in that game?
No. Like I said, we're a very much a different team now, and so will City be, although a lot of similarities at the same time. So no, I don't think you could be comparing back to 2 years ago, because some of them players that you've mentioned there, have developed, played a lot more games than what they did then, and it's just a completely different situation.
Well, let's talk about the City team currently, and one player attracting a lot of attention at the moment is Phil Foden. Someone you, Steve, know very well, of course. He was a big part of your World Cup winning team with the England under-17s.
Yeah, brilliant to see him doing so well, and has been for a while now. Fantastic talent, brilliant lad, and it's lovely to see him showcasing it at the highest level. And there's a lot of good young talent in and around the country, both in the Premier League and the Championship. And to see them playing games is always nice to see. And obviously, Phil at the moment is getting particular attention, and rightly so. And it's always a good thing having potential and ability, but it's another thing putting it into action, and he's doing it at the moment. And I think in City and are benefiting from it. I'm sure England will in the future. But he's a good lad. He loves football. He always has the ball at his feet, and it's in some ways for the guys who have worked with him, it's not a surprise that it seemed doing so well, because he is a super talent.
I was about to ask, what were your memories of working with Phil, and in particular that tournament and winning the World Cup?
Very likeable lad, very much a team player. Like I said, always have a ball at his feet, whether he's in his hotel room or in the corridor or on the training pitch. You very rarely see him without a ball or messing about with something that he thinks he can play football with. But that group was like that anyway. It was very much a team and a squad full of enthusiasm and love for the game. And Phil, like everybody else, epitomised that. And yeah, in that tournament particularly, he contributed. Everybody did, and he scored a couple of important goals, some similar to yesterday, really, coming in off the right. But yeah, like I said, that team wasn't, that squad wasn't about individuals. That was about the group. That's that's when you win something, it's always about the team. And it's just good that he's him and so many others have carried on and taken it into senior football, and are now becoming established players, which is great.
Because you've linked up with a few of those players from that time in your management career so far. Just wonder if there was ever the chance of linking up with Phil again, if there was ever a possibility of tapping at Manchester City, a year or two ago, maybe. Or
if there was, I would have dived in 2 foot. Don't worry about that. But no, I think Phil was never too far away, was he, from the City team? And I think if we did ask the question, I think we would have got a swift reply.
As far as your team are concerned, is this the best that they're playing at the moment since you've been in charge? Because that was a terrific performance and win against Norwich.
I don't know. I mean, we're always, our standards are always set high. We're always aiming to play at a certain level wherever game we play in. At the same time, I always look at performance and think that we can do this better and do that better. And obviously we played well against Norwich the other night, and it was a good result. But there's some stuff that I feel we can improve on, and that will always be the case. So, consistency is really important in this league. Momentum is really important in the league, and I think the teams that show that the most give themselves the best chance of finishing in a good position. And we're no different. So we're not looking back, Si. We're looking forward. Obviously, we've got a really tough challenge on Wednesday, but one we're excited about, and once that's been and gone, we'll be the same approach into Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday. So, if we are playing well, if we are doing good things, we have to be absolutely paranoid about keeping it going, and that's the mentality that I want.
You have a reputation as a manager of liking to play football the right way, of attractive passing style. In that sense, is Pep Guardiola someone that you really aspire to and look up to as a coach?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, one of many coaches that will have that feeling of admiration for what he's done in the game, how his team's played. The Barcelona team particularly, I studied a lot, and then following into Bayern Munich and City. In my old job with England, I managed to watch City live a lot. Because it wasn't too far away from home, and when I covered games locally, then I'd always try and jump on the Man City games. So yeah, you can I can't be anything else but show admiration for what Pep has done as a coach and the way his teams have played. And like I said, I'm one of so many younger coaches that have sat up and taken a lot of notice of the work that he's done.
And last question from me, with this game and of course the big Norwich game that has just been, it's such a shame, isn't it, needless to say, that there are no fans, because the Liberty would be rocking, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, there's been so many times, and let every club will say it, every set of players will say it, where there's been moments where you think, I wish the fans would have been here now. And Friday would definitely have been brilliant, wouldn't it? Friday night football under lights, a good game, and obviously the right result. It would have been a fantastic occasion. We've just got to make sure that we always keep the supporters in our minds. I've said before, I keep reminding the players who we're playing for, and it's them. And the sooner supporters can get back in stadiums, the better.
Thanks, Steve.
See you, Si. Thanks, mate.
Hi, Steve. You all right?
Yep. Who's that? Musai, mate.
How are you?
Yeah. Up for the big games, mate. Yeah, that's when we see you. Come on, mate.
That's a bit harsh. Promotion has to be the aim this season after last year. So I'm not saying the Friday is just this game is just a game which you're not going to take seriously, but it is one where you've got nothing to lose.
No, there's always something to lose. I think when it's football's a competition, you have to compete. I think cup football, knockout football is something you should go for anyway. Because it's sort of winner takes all on the night, and that's been our approach. This is our third FA Cup game. our approach has always been to go and win and to give it our best shot. Very different ties, obviously, from a League Two game, Stevenage, to a Championship game, Forest, and obviously the Premier League leaders in City. So very different scenarios. But the objective hasn't changed. Obviously, the context has around the game, because that's normal and natural. But the mentality that we're trying to instill here is a winning one and a competitive one. And I don't think you can have a day off from that if you really believe in setting that standard. And Wednesday will be no different. It's, like I said, a tough challenge. It's somewhat a daunting challenge. But I'm not going to every day stand in front of the players and talk about raising standards and belief and then come to a game and down tools and see it as a free hit. I think that would be wrong. We're very, I keep repeating, we're very aware of the challenge, but our objectives won't change.
They've shown by getting to winning the League Cup for the last few years and the FA Cup as well that they love cup football, and Pep loves every single competition. So how do you beat them? How do you go about beating them?
Well, we have to be perfect in our game. There's no doubt about that, and hope that they're not. Let's be true about that. But I think the term I've used to the team this morning is to play with ambition. Play with ambition, and when we can, play our way. And I know there's going to be times in the game where we won't see as much as the ball as we would like, and we're probably teams going to be a bit lower on the pitch than we would like. We saw that yesterday. But when we do get opportunities to play or to impose our game with and without the ball, we have to commit to it. Otherwise, there's no point in having a way of playing. So yeah, just as I said, we've got to be perfect with our game, and hope that they're not. But we won't be doing anything too different. Like I said, what changes is around games from each one to the next is the context, but our intention of playing doesn't.
In terms of you've been there for a year and a half now, and pretty much everything bar the playoffs with Brentford has gone the way you would want them to. But your management might have gone under the radar for those who don't concentrate on the EFL on a week-by-week basis. This very much thrusts you into the public sort of consciousness, doesn't it?
It's irrelevant. This is about Swansea, playing in, big FA Cup tie against a top Premier League team and trying to, impose ourselves on the games. There's no hierarchy at this club at the moment. Everyone's together, and we really believe in being collaborative, and this will be no different. So whether it's me, a player, or anybody else, we're not about individuals. We're about togetherness, and we feel the spirit that we have can help us achieve long term, whether that this year, next year, or longer than that. And that's really how we're trying to go about it, Moose.
Just a couple more. First of all, Phil Foden, as has been well documented, you were his manager with the under-17s in that successful team. Did you always know he was going to be a star? And it's not always that young players do kick on and become actual top players. A lot fall by the wayside.
Well, I think, I don't really think it's my place to comment on whether he's a star or, that's more for City and Pep to make them. But I can only tell you about when I work with him. And as I said before, a really, really good lad, loved football, loved training, loved the idea of what was happening next in the game, and just wanted to be on the ball all the time. When you see talents like this and you work with them at a young age, you hope that they can progress and they can get opportunities, and then they can take the opportunities and flourish. And it seems to me, from the outside looking in, he's doing that. He's obviously playing in big games now, and that's amazing to see. But he's under brilliant stewardship with Pep and Rodolfo, who I know well as well from my time at Liverpool, who's one of the assistants there, that he'll be getting the best work possible. And in the end, all you want to do is give young players a chance, but it's up to them to take it. And we're no different here. We've got some good young players at Swansea that we're committing game time to and opportunities, and we want to support them through the highs and lows of becoming an established player as well.
And finally, it has to be settled on the night. I know you're a manager that attends to every single detail, and I think you told me before playoffs you'd practice penalties. Have you been practicing penalties ahead of Wednesday, just in case?
Yeah, no, we'll be ready for it. We have done in the previous 2 rounds, and I think it's would be naive not to do that. So yeah, no, the approach won't change. So our cup football approach.
Top man, good luck.
Thanks, mate. Hope you're well.
Hey, Steve, you're right.
Hi, Beth.
Yeah, just a couple of things really. No matter what sport, what level you're in, what league you're in, players want to pitch themselves against the best, don't they? So shackles off on Wednesday.
Well, I think I agree with you. I think if you have the right mentality about you and you have the right mindset, then I do think that you look forward to thriving on these challenges, and that's where I want us to be. And I wouldn't say shackles off, because that's a little bit like, nothing to lose that was said before, and free hit and all that. And I don't agree with that. I don't think that should ever be the case in a game of football. But at the same time, it's a not, the FA Cup's a knockout competition, and you have to, go for it, when you get the opportunity. And, that's what I want us to do. I want us to commit to the challenge. We understand it's a difficult one. It's a big one, daunting one, whatever you want to call it. But as I've said before, I'm not going to stand up in front of the players that I've done for 18 months and demand them to, improve the mentality and play with confidence and play with commitment, and then show something different for a one-off game. It's a game we're looking forward to. Should be excited about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it goes without saying you must be buzzing for this kind of game as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we're buzzing for every game at the moment. It's it feels like we are playing every few days, and you've really got to get yourself over the last game and up for the next one. And listen, these games can't come quick enough at the moment. City in the FA Cup next. Let's prepare as best we can and commit to the challenge.
Does it help having a few heads who have done the Premier League and been there and kind of, played against these players maybe?
Maybe, but then at the same time, the players that haven't, they might be even hungrier for the game. So it's all about whoever you are and whatever you've done, having the right mentality, try and understand the game plan that we're putting in place, and back ourselves to go and commit to it.
Last question from me. What is so different about the FA Cup, obviously, apart from the format? Try and explain to those who've not ever been in one, coached or played.
We've got knocked out in the first round, third round last year, and we've won 2 this year. I just think it's about really committing to go and winning the game. But I think the championship's like that anyway. There's lots of teams that don't play for a draw, go for the win, and sometimes because of that they end up losing, and we at times are no different. So it's hard to really answer that, Beth. But what I do know is that we know it's when it takes all on the day, and we hope we can make a good fist of it.
Wicked. Good luck.
Thanks, Beth.
Hi, Steve. It's Keith at Sky here.
Hi, Keith. You okay, mate?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Just 2 very quickly, if you don't mind. Just on Phil. How much pride do you take in seeing what he did yesterday and what he has been doing over the last few months, and the part you played in his development?
Yeah, you always take, when you work with a young player, and I'm not I'm not one of these coaches that think that a coach develops a player. Players develop themselves and deserve all the credit when they get there. But when you know a young player and you've spent time with them, of course it's brilliant to see them do well as knowing when one's not doing so well, that you're there for them to support them, which is what you see a lot as well. And I've often exchanged messages to players, whether they're going through good moments or difficult moments, and sort of reflecting on stuff with them. So at the moment, Phil's obviously had a good moment, and it's brilliant to see. But a lot of my coaching has been in youth development, and youth development is exactly that, developing players for the next stage. So when they get there, then it's always lovely to see them do well.
It was really nice as well just to hear you describe what he was like as a youngster in and around the England under-17 camp. You were saying playing football in the corridor, always had a ball in his room with him. Yeah. I suppose that just shows the youthfulness, but I suppose probably lockdown and the pandemic might have actually given him a bit of an advantage if he's playing football in the house all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd have found a way. That's for sure. Yeah. No, constantly fidgeting around with something, just to have a game of football. But like I said, that group was like that, particularly when we were confined to a hotel corridor for, I think, 33 days or something in India. They had to keep themselves busy, but Phil would have been like that anyway, I'm sure.
Thanks very much. Good luck.
Okay, Keith. Thanks, mate.
Hi, Steve. Chris from That's TV South Wales. Just
Hi,
a quick one from me. Obviously, this season has been unlike any other season. Does that mean that causing an upset is even more possible, given the sort of strange results we've seen in every league this year?
I hope so. Yeah, no, you're right. It has been a season for different situations, if you like, and because of that, we've maybe seen some uncharacteristic results or performances, or run of form or loss of form, etc. So, it is a little bit of the unknown, and if we can make a surprise on Wednesday, then we'll be happy to contribute to that. So, like I said, it's an FA Cup game. I've said a few times now, it's a challenge. It's a massive one, but we're going to commit to having a go at it.
And I'd actually just, mate, City flying at the minute. Do you believe that this is possibly the biggest challenge in football right now?
Probably in our country, it's up there, isn't it? Anytime you've played Man City over recent seasons, it's a massive challenge. Like it would be playing Liverpool, United, etc., etc. They are massive brands now and sort of juggernauts of football. But obviously they go on the back of a fantastic result yesterday, and I'm sure spirits will be high, but so is ours. So we focus on ourselves. We're very much following that mantra this year of looking after ourselves and controlling what we're in control of, and that's always our performances. And because of that, you get decent results. So we will stick to that, but at the same time, we know that this is going to be a bit of a different challenge and a step up.